Hi, everybody. My name is Chance Dibben. I am a creative solution strategist here at IMS Inc., and I'm involved in a lot of our creative solutions and strategies that we provide to our financial advisors. And what I'm going to talk to you today about is digital marketing best practices, specifically Facebook and LinkedIn. Both social platforms are very relevant for financial advisors. We've had folks that we've worked with over a number of years have a lot of luck with these platforms, but many people still don't quite know how to get started with them. So this is kind of give you an overview of that and also give you a sense of what we can do for you in the digital space. So the kind of what you see here on this introduction card, kind of puts it out pretty clear. The reality of today's environment is that no business can survive without a solid digital marketing strategy. And we are in an environment where doing business online and doing business virtually is crucial. So both LinkedIn and Facebook provide passive and direct ways of engaging with your target market and provide you opportunities to develop a larger marketing strategy. So again, as I mentioned at the start, you see there this presentation, and overall we tend to focus on two main platforms, Facebook and LinkedIn. There are plenty of other social media platforms out there, right? TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and they can be useful. What we find though, for our purposes, Facebook and LinkedIn are going to be the most relevant. So let's talk about the difference between the two and how we employ Facebook and LinkedIn. So both Facebook and LinkedIn, again, are very relevant for your digital marketing practices. So with regards to Facebook, in general, we're going to want to build a business page. We're going to want to leverage a business entity kind of page that will stand for our business and provide information about who we are and what we do to potential potential consumers. With LinkedIn, in general, we want to focus and develop the individual page. So LinkedIn does have the ability to you do have the ability to create a business page on LinkedIn, but the main way that LinkedIn works, because it is a networking site for business professionals, is off the personal business page. Again, there you see that other social media platforms may have use, but Facebook and LinkedIn are going to be the two primary ways we go here. So here's a little chart about Facebook. It's the world's largest social media platform. It's used by a wide variety of individuals, and it's not just for young folks. There is a perception that Facebook is only used by a younger segment of our target market. However, one of the biggest pushes that we see, if you take a look between the 45 to say 64, which is very relevant for the retirement and income planning space, those two represent a pretty significant chunk. And one of the reasons why we find that even older folks are engaged on Facebook is because that's how they stay in touch with their grandchildren. That's how they stay in touch with friends and family that move away. So again, Facebook, not just for young folks. Definitely a lot of your target market is active on this platform. So this gives us a look at what the difference between a personal page and a business page. Here we see a personal page built out for our CMO and Executive Vice President, Curtis Hawks. With this personal page, he's reflected his business identity in the company that he works for, since a lot of what he does is, one-on-one engagement. But a personal page is just that, typically, a personal page. For most people, their personal page is going to be what they actually use to engage with their friends and family and things of that nature. And on the right here, we see a business page. And this is our business page. And you'll see that we have a banner up top that kind of has our motto and our main message that we want to convey out to our clients. We've got our logo. We've got details in the About Us, and we also have, recent posts. So again, that's the main difference between the personal and the business page here. So this is going to walk you through creating a business page. Now, we are here to help you with this. We do this all the time, but if you want to get started on your own, here are the steps. And again, an important idea with the business page and the personal page relationship is that you generally have to have a personal page to create a business page. So you can create a new business page by going to Pages. And for a lot of folks with the new Facebook layout, that's going to be on the left side panel, and you click Create New Page. What you'll then do from there is kind of follow the steps. You'll choose a relevant name that reflects your company. At first, you may not be able to customize the Facebook URL, so like facebook.com/for-us, IAMS Inc. Or for your business, facebook.com/XYZ Retirement Solutions, until it's been live for a few weeks. So when you're developing this page, you're going to have a number of areas to provide information about your company. And this is going to be some basic information that you're going to want to include: business hours, your about, and your story. But then you're also going to have opportunities to display your core values. This is a good place to put your mission statement, your main business message, and also very important, what they call impressives or disclosure. So a lot of security folks, if they are able to get a social media page built out, are going to have a specific disclosure that they'll put in there. We also recommend providing just a general type of disclosure if you're not a securities licensed individual and subject to compliance. This is just a good best practice. It lets people know that, while information on this page, this information on this page may have some tax implications that you might want to speak to a professional and so forth, and yada yada. So that can be a good way of just providing a little bit of coverage for the information that you provide on your page. And in general, the kind of content that you're going to want to put on your page is you want it to be broad. You don't want it to be so specific and promissory or anything of that nature, even if you are not subject to compliance. So when you're developing a page, a couple of things to keep in mind is the visual impact of the page. So you want to make sure that your banner includes high resolution imagery. This is a good occasion to, again, reemphasize a business message, a motto. You could even include a picture of your staff. Some folks will like to put a picture of their facilities. All of those are good. You just want to have a good visual brand identity. And your profile icon, and including us, you see that it's our main logo. For individual financial advisors, they might want to use their headshot, like a high quality headshot. That can give a real nice personal touch so that when people come to your page, they see that there's a person behind the brand. And that's just a good thing to keep in mind. Anytime we develop a digital hub or anywhere that we have a digital footprint, we want to humanize it as much as we can. So much is happening on digital, in the digital space these days. So the more personalization and more humanization that we can provide to those elements, all the better, especially for the financial services space, where a lot of what we do and a lot of what you do in the field is based off of one-on-one relationships. It's based off of trust. So that can be very, very important. So here we have our page. It's developed. Now what do, right? Well, there's a few things that we can get going on here, which is to engage your warm market for likes, leverage news sources for posts, link to other digital platforms, like your website, for instance, and eventually boost the page itself for likes. So let's go back up to the top. Engage your warm market for likes. What does that mean? Well, that generally is going to mean engage your personal connections to like your business page. When it comes to social media platforms, we tend to want to keep the personal personal and the business business, but this is a rare occasion where you can kind of muddy the water a little bit. And the reason is generally your personal connections are willing to be advocates for you on your Facebook page. And the more likes that you have on this page as you develop it, the more credibility that it's going to have with if somebody comes across and sees it. Leverage new sources for posts. This is what I would call fish food style kind of content. We provide this for our agents, for a number of agents that we work with. You can also employ this strategy on your own. Essentially, it's going out to a reputable news source, a Forbes.com, an MSNBC.com, and so forth, finding a relevant article that might appeal to your target market, adding a sentence or two of commentary, explaining the reason why your audience might want to check this out, and then posting it. Linking to your other digital platforms. So if you've got good content already built out on your website, or as you do that, certainly link it out on your social media pages, especially your Facebook page. And then finally, boost the page for likes. So this is when we actually get into spend, ad spend. I generally don't recommend somebody put money on their page until they've done the first 3 steps, just because you will find that you have better luck and more success when there's already a base layer of credibility. That's not always possible, and that's okay. But that's sort of the process that I usually like to take my agents with. So boost that page for likes, and when you build out that audience, you want to go after your target audience. Obviously, you don't want to just boost it randomly. You want to go after folks that are in your target market and may benefit from the information that you can provide now and over time. If you have questions about how to target, if you have questions about how to boost, we can certainly walk you through that. I'm here and available as a resource, and we've got a good team here. So make sure if that's a thing that you're interested in, give us a call. So this walks through posting. When you post, you want to commit to a regular schedule, right? And find a schedule that works for you. So for some folks, that's going to be once a week. For some folks, it might be a few times a week. For some folks, it might be just a few times a month. I generally recommend, something that's probably close to, at least once a week. But the more important aspect is the frequency and the commitment of this to the schedule. You want to vary your style of post. Now, previously I mentioned fish food style. So again, that's kind of canned or pulling off of a newspaper or blog that's relevant, and combine that with like company specific messages. Throw in some video, photos. If there's a topic if there's a situation that's happening that's relevant and current, you might want to mention something about that. So for instance, here you have a few examples: holiday messages, new legislation, tax time. Those are all great occasions to just put out a short little message that reemphasizes what you can do for your consumer base. You also want to support your posts with imagery. I call them social cards. You can call them, whatever you want to call them. These are, in general, are going to be pictures that you could pull from a stock photo service, or you might pull from your own website or your own resources, and just to support that post with that imagery. Now, I generally like to, if I'm going to do an ad or something that I really want to stand out, I'm going to spend a little time designing and finessing that image and sizing it correctly so it fits with that post correctly. And then again, you also want to consider video. Video can be very, very powerful at reaching your target market. Got crazy engagement rates. And videos really, it's not too difficult to do these days. You don't need super high quality video equipment to get a nice little video out there. We've got a number of agents that will do kind of like what I'm doing in here. You know, I'm in an office and I'm speaking to you directly. And so what they'll do is they will think about something that may be topical or something that's been on their mind or something that a recent client came to them with. And they'll say, hey, you know, I want to do a quick video on that. Short videos, 2-3 minutes, maybe even shorter. Record on your iPhone and throw it up on your Facebook page. Great way to get content out there, great way to get engagement, and it doesn't take too much time. So here are some best practices with posting, just conceptually. You want to avoid hot button and controversial topics, you know, politics, social issues, etc. That could take you into some waters that you may not want to wade into. You want to keep your posts appropriate and germane to your business. Now, some personality is great, right? Everybody has a personality, and you know, putting a little bit of that personality into your business and your digital presence is great. But a lot of times, that one of the worst things that I see advisors do on their digital platforms like Facebook is really make their business page their personal page. You know, so by which I mean sharing memes, sharing certain types of videos, sharing stuff about sports or what have you, the kind of stuff that you would see on a personal feed, not necessarily expect from a business feed. I think, you know, again, some personality is okay. Some cat videos might be all right if you can tie it, especially if you can tie it into your business and what you do as a firm. And leveraging that stuff can be good as well. But I would say, you know, keep it appropriate. Again, you want to keep your posts clear, concise, and professional. This is your chance to make a good impression on your audience. So you want to educate them or entice them or give them a good call to action. And so being very, very clear and succinct is going to help you. So I mentioned earlier about boosting. So when you first start to get to posting, you may see an option to boost a new post just before you finalize the post or after. What boosting is a simplified version of Facebook's advertising system. So there are pros and cons of boosting. Pro, it's pretty simple, it's quick. Con, there may be limited targeting options. So we want to get our pieces in front of the right people. And the boosting aspect does have some targeting details with it. But when we are really looking to reach our target market, we're going to want to go through the back end to do some advertising. And so if you have questions about how to do that or want us to take care of it, give us a call. Another point is you want to boost original content and or offers over leveraged posts, aka the fish food. I've had a lot of advisors that, you know, try to get up and running on their Facebook pages and will put, you know, follow the steps. We'll go to Forbes.com, we'll go to MSNBC.com, find an article that they think is really relevant to their target market, and then they're going to want to boost that. Unless there's a really, really compelling reason, unless the explanatory text gets into something that is very, very specific about what you can provide, you don't want to boost those. You want to boost original content. Excuse me. So this slide talks about groups. So there might be community pages or groups where you can participate, provide your insight, and offer your services. So you want to take a look about the community groups that are in your area, and just, you know, have a good read on what's going on. Now you can see here, this is a list of groups here in the Topeka area. I'm in the Topeka office here, so here's the, you know, some Topeka groups. Now some of these might not be relevant for me, but some of them might, or there might be a post that comes up that I could respond to. So for instance, the first two you see are job postings. So if somebody's talking about, you know, I lost my job or I just found a job, those are occasions that, you know, might warrant a financial services inquiry, right? So you can also So just take a look at the groups in your area. With groups, you want to make sure you do adhere to the rules of the group. Don't be spammy. Don't be inappropriate. Don't go too over the top and too aggressive with your messaging. Just be there when somebody needs you. All right, now we're talking about LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, in contrast to Facebook, Facebook is more broad consumer base, right? We have a variety of folks that we can find on Facebook. On LinkedIn, we're going to find more of our business professionals type connections, but it's still very, very relevant because of the details and the information that it has in there. So again, it may not have the same variety of consumers as Facebook, but it's generally going to have a higher concentration of executives, professionals, business owners, and it's great for connecting and messaging. So here's our individual page versus business page overview. So again, this is Curtis Hawks, our CMO and Executive Vice President here at IMS Inc. You can see his individual page is sort of similar to his personal Facebook page, but again, the main difference here between Facebook and LinkedIn is that on Facebook, business page is going to be where we want to bounce off of, and here, the individual page is going to be where we want to bounce off of. And again, as the point, as you see here, it's because we're making one-on-one connections. So when you develop an individual page, you're going to want to follow the same principles as we talked about on the in the Facebook section. High quality imagery. You want to make sure you leverage that banner section, and you can also use the same kind of fish food style post on here, or pull content from your website to here. So one thing that LinkedIn does have is it has more opportunities to display skills, experience, and about information. So you definitely want to take advantage of these spaces. This is a great place to put your biography. It's a great place to put different skill sets, different kind of messaging that you want people to know about. So this goes over a connection request. Here you see me. So sending a connection request is pretty straightforward. You just hit that connect button. So from our point of view here, I am in Curtis's profile. I'm coming to my profile and I want to connect with me. So I click connect. When you trigger a connection request, you're going to have an opportunity to add a note. So you can blindly just connect, but you will be prompted to put a note and provide context for why you're requesting. We definitely recommend you do that. It's a good way to introduce who you are and why you're requesting the connection. It's a good way to soft introduce your business and what you can provide to the individual. When you do that too, you can also bring in shared connections or groups that you have in common if possible. So, oh, I see that we're connected to this person. Well, hey, I thought we might connect because, we're connected to this person and we might have a good beneficial relationship. So when somebody does confirm their connection with you, you want to make sure you send a follow-up thank you message as well. From here, you can also tease out further what you do in your business and why it can be a resource to the prospect. So in our example here, you see that we have the sender saying, I want to thank you for connecting with me as one of my connections. It is my hope that I can be of assistance to you in any way. If I can be of assistance to you in any way, you will not hesitate to contact me. I think you could really benefit from what we do. I work with XYZ. And so you see that in this example, the respondent has said, hey, that's actually really great. I've actually been concerned about that topic. Will all your interactions go quite that way? Maybe not. but it's a good structure to follow and a good way to sort of stir the water a little bit. So after you've connected with the individual and after you've sent your thank you message, this would be time to send another message. And what do you want to send them? You can send them any number of different things. Here we have, you know, a message about content, like the advisor says here, I regularly post articles about financial planning and retirement. As one of my valued connections, I was wondering if there's a topic that might be relevant to you. You're letting that person know that you are resourced, you've got them in mind, and I want to tailor what I'm doing to you. And that can inspire, you know, further conversation. So this talks about if the prospect doesn't respond or stops the conversation, it might be time to try a different approach. Instead of persistent attempts at engagement, drip on them slowly. Send them a direct link to an article you wrote or a relevant post from a financial news source. Those fish food style posts that we talked about before. So in our example here, hi John, it's been a while since I've heard from you. I just posted this article I think might be helpful for you. Let me know what you think. So searching. So LinkedIn has a great search feature to find individuals based on a number of filters. This can be an effective way to find executives and other sought after individuals and to identify, say, employees affected by a layoff. And this would tie into, say, a real-time marketing strategy. So in our example here, you see that we are searching for pharmacists. So pharmacists, we know, have a lot of pharmacists we know have a lot of concerns and financial considerations to be aware of. So let's take a look at what we see here. So from here, pharmacist, we see all the results, right? This is a search page that I think identifies all the people that identify themselves as pharmacists on LinkedIn. It's a lot of people. So let's do some filtering. Oh, actually, looks like we're going to go here. Let me go back to this. So, and just express what we can do with the filtering. So we can filter our pharmacists by connection level. So first level connections, second level connections, or third. So first level connections are folks that we've already made the connection with. Second level would be those that we share a common, a mutual connection. And third would be folks outside of that. And you can dial in by location as well. So if there's a particular situation in a specific area and you want to find somebody of a particular career, you know, that would be the way to do it. And I think that's what we see here on the next slide. So yeah, so Siemens, right? Manufacturer. So here we have it dialed in and filtered by well, people, of course, because we don't want to find groups, we don't want to find the company, we want to find people that identify themselves as working at Siemens. We want to identify that they're in the Los Angeles area, and then also that this is their current company. So say for instance, Siemens would have a layoff scenario. This would be a way that you could target folks and send them a message. So this talks about display advertising. And both LinkedIn and Facebook offer display advertising. I mean, that's how they make their money. That's how they've grown to the size that they've grown. Now, the nuances of each platform is beyond the scope of this presentation. If you have questions about display advertising and how it works, kind of ties a little bit earlier into what I mentioned about boosting, you contact us, we're here to help. However, the difference between the two is that baseline metrics tend to cost more on LinkedIn, and that's because LinkedIn has more targeted dialed in options. When you filter through LinkedIn, like we saw, we can get really narrow as far as employers and areas. Facebook has some of that, but it's not as precise. But it's a good way to reach general consumers, in contrast to LinkedIn, where that's going to be where you try to reach business professionals and executives. Both are going to be relevant to what you do, and both can be very, very powerful ways of building up an audience and getting your message out there. So how can we help? This slide talks about a few things that we can do for you. So with regards to Facebook, we can help you create your Facebook business page. We do it all the time, optimizing it, getting it developed. We can get you on our social media rotation. That's that leverage posting. If you want to do boosted posts, we can help you out with that as well. And then probably the more eye-catching part, or what most advisors are interested in, is the ad creation and campaign management. So they got a Facebook page, maybe it needs a little bit of work, but really what they want to do is get their message out to their target market. We can help them with creating their ads and building out the campaign chassis, and then also developing that campaign over the course of the life of the campaign. Same thing with LinkedIn. We can help you build that personal page. If you want, we can make that business page as well. Again, business page on LinkedIn, not going to be as relevant because that's generally going to be more for job seekers than it is anything, but it can help out. We can help with optimization of both, and leverage posting, and then also ad creation and campaign management. We're also here available to put any graphics or visuals that you want to have on your page. Really, anything that you need to do to get your social platforms up to speed, we're here to help you on. In fact, we actually have 2 sales guides that we've developed to help our advisors get up to speed with their platforms. So we've got a Facebook marketing guide and a LinkedIn prospecting guide. A lot of the material in this presentation has been drawn from these 2, but there's actually quite a bit more in both these guides. They're available for free. Just contact a sales director here at IMES, and we will hook you up with one of these guides. And again, if you have questions about how any of this can work, or what your particular strategy is or should be, give us a call and we'll help you out. Because it's not just about the social media platforms. So I deal a lot with the social media platforms, Facebook and LinkedIn, for our financial advisors, but it's also about understanding how that fits within the overall marketing strategy that you want to have to reach your goals. So that could incorporate traditional marketing methods as well as these digital solutions. And so it's important that you have a good understanding of what your marketing strategy should be, and that's another thing that we're here to help our advisors with. And thank you. So thanks for joining me here. Hopefully I didn't cough too much there for you and miss some spots, but I really do appreciate you checking this presentation out, and contact us at 1-800-255-5055, and we'll get you set up with whatever you need. Thanks a lot.